It was really interesting to discover that the original Jurassic Park ride, located inside Universal Studios Hollywood out in Los Angeles, California, was actually built as the filming of the original movie was still in production.
Yeah, hit it. Roll it. Action on the G.
Opening up to the public all the way back on June 21st, 1996, and going by the name Jurassic Park, the ride. Universal's Islands of Adventure in Orlando, Florida, not long after that would build their own version of the ride with some significant differences from that of the original ride found at Universal Studios Hollywood. Then in 2018, Universal Studios Hollywood's version of the ride announced it would be retheming its ride to match the 2015 and 2018 Jurassic World movies. Now the ride here in Orlando is still titled, at least for now it is, Jurassic Park River Adventure, and remains truly a huge attraction for fans of the movie to experience on any trip to Islands of Adventure, even with the new Velocicoaster ride and the other updates found inside Jurassic Park. The ride itself is based on the 1990 science fiction novel Jurassic Park, written by Michael Crichton. As you enter and walk through the line area, the atmosphere of just being on some remote island in Costa Rica is pretty believable, with the line's tropical props and architecture that are all around you. It's really a neat thing to take in as you wait. You're at a sort of biological preserve established in the novel by the fictional company International Genetic Technologies, or otherwise known as InGen. And what is this place really? Well, it's an amusement park with a whole cast of cloned dinosaurs of all shapes and sizes that were recreated using dinosaur DNA. Now, if you've never experienced this ride, as you're in the line awaiting to ride, some scientists deliver important scientific data related to the park's prehistoric inhabitants that are broadcasted on these television sets that are hanging all around you as you wait in the line. And I believe this is all based straight from the books and seen in the movies too. And it appears to still be the same footage that probably was there on opening day, giving it a real retro feel, just that 80s feel to the footage. Kind of that generic looking footage that they're still playing. So I thought that was a nice touch, especially to hold on to that after all these years. You've also got the subtle sound of the movie's musical score being played in the background, which is always a good way to launch you straight into the plot of a movie. And you know, the ride, after all these years, sets the mood nicely for this sort of river adventure. And we just still enjoy doing this every time we're here and we're able to ride it. And this time it just so happened to be a really short wait time, so we walked straight in and we were ready to go. After boarding the raft, the river adventure sets off and wastes absolutely no time at all transporting you straight into the storyline of the ride, as your raft is lifted up in elevation before plunging onward onto your river adventure. And one of the coolest things that happens right at the beginning of the ride is the grand entrance into Jurassic Park itself.
When the river flowed through a newborn world, and giants walked the earth. Welcome to Jurassic Park.
I can only imagine what the ride would have felt like all the way back when the ride first opened and the movie was new. Must have been a cool thing to experience. And you know, even if they don't make future ride updates like they did on the Universal Studios Hollywood version of the ride, I myself am very happy with the original cast of dinosaur animatronics and the riding theme still found here today. For me, it works perfect. But the entrance music as you enter into Jurassic Park quickly fades, and then the desolate sound of being in a remote island area begin to settle in.
The ultrasaurs in this lagoon are among the largest creatures ever to walk the earth.
First up is passing through Ultrasaur Lagoon, where a large dinosaur animatronic known as an Ultrasaurus with a very long neck makes an appearance. And according to the tour guide, these were, or are, a friendly species of dinosaur.
Cetacosaurs, with their curved, parrot-like beaks, are the most primitive of the horned dinosaurs.
And you know, Universal's sound design on this ride really stands out, even after all these years. Still as neat as ever, no matter how many times we've ridden it. And again, the sounds of the waterfalls and the gentle river during the initial parts of this ride are just so very relaxing, as it felt good to just sit and take it all in. Probably to me one of the most recognizable dinosaurs, aside from a T-Rex, is the Stegosaurus. I think it might be the kite-shaped plates that run down the spine area of the Stegosaurus, but the River Adventure showcases two of these unique large dinosaurs, which are really cool to see up close. And it would definitely be an awesome discovery to uncover one of these prehistoric creatures in real life.
Period. Ensuring long and healthy lives for these magnificent animals.
And as a side note, during a period of time known as the Bone Wars, or the Great Dinosaur Rush, two highly competitive paleontologists had a bitter rival amongst one another during their grave efforts of discovering dinosaur fossils between 1877 and 1892. And they left behind many unopened boxes of fossils after their deaths, with their works helping to discover many new species of dinosaur and fueling a better understanding of prehistoric life, as well as giving the motivation for continued searches for more fossil excavation to this very day. Anyways, back to the ride. After a couple of dinosaurs poked their heads from the flowing river to get a better view of the humans passing by,
The tour is Hadrosaur Cove.
things seem to get a little more tense as the raft begins drifting towards a Raptor containment area that looks as if it's taken on some pretty heavy damage for some reason.
This is Jurassic Park Animal Control. It looks like one of the dinosaurs has come to your boat off the board. You are entering the Raptor containment area. Please, stay seated. We'll grab your boat and receive dock ahead. Dock out of the boat.
And it's at this point in the ride where you better hold on, because things aren't what you expected. There's some real mischief going on somewhere in this operation.
This can't be good.
Taking out control to CH-35. There's a tour boat off course in the Raptor area. We've got to get those people out of there.
Now the set design in here, along with the megaphone voice of a stressed InGen employee and the blaring and repetitive emergency siren, even with the years going by, this still works great in my opinion to work this scene up.
Copy CH-25. Grab the boat before they get too far.
Now that snarl that came from that overhead containment cage, not sure what was in there, but I don't think he was too happy. Finally, you end up entering into a building which I've read is some sort of water treatment plant, and then your raft begins to ascend as you enter straight into the darkness. And you know something big is about to go down. I think that's the point of the ride. Few glimpses of the various cargo and containers located within the facility, along with the sound effects and the flashes of colorful lights, really adds to the intensity as you keep moving forward and upward, awaiting to see what comes next. All I could think was at some point, this thing has to soon propel us down a massive hill, and we're gonna get soaking wet. I knew it was coming. And there's just lots of cool set design inside of here. Cool color cast, and even more dinosaur animatronics sprinkled in here and there. The big moment was upon us, and there it was. The T-Rex lied before us. But before we finished the ride out, a couple things to point out that I found very interesting to learn about was during the grand opening of the ride, Steven Spielberg asked to be left off the ride right here at this very point.
You gonna ride it today?
I've been on the ride. I just conveniently get off before I go 85 feet down to my soaking, depth.
Also, one of the most recent changes to the Jurassic Park River Adventure includes a lighting change during the ending T-Rex scene, as noticed by one of the visitors to the park, mentioning that they changed the lighting from orange to green, which we noticed too, right before our raft quickly maneuvered down the hill just in the nick of time, avoiding the bite of Jurassic Park River Adventure's most ferocious creature, ferocious carnivore, the T-Rex. This is one ride that never gets old, and on any trip to Universal's Islands of Adventure, it's sure to be one adventure Sarah and I will most certainly be taking, just as long as it remains open and in operation.